Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 89th episode of In the Trenches, Kroll's weekly cyber threat intelligence briefing. Today is March 3rd, 2025, and my name is Lauria Icono. I'm an associate managing director on our threat intelligence team. And joining me today, also from the CTI team, are Dave Truman, Brian Hicks, Sam Flint, and Sarah Kerrigan, who are going to go over some of the research that they are witnessing in the trenches. So I want to start with situational awareness, some of the big stories that we're tracking. The first one is there has been another update to the Kroll ransomware site around their attacks. They have released the names of previously redacted victim organizations. They've been going in alphabetical order, so what they just released was E through H. They have also identified that there are about 183 victim organizations that are covering letters H to W of the alphabet. We're continuing to track this very closely, and we'll continue to update everyone as we observe any further updates from this group. I also want to give an update on KTA 374, also known as Salt Typhoon. They have been known to target the telecom industry, and a report came out last week that identified some further information on that targeting that was identified in late 2024. This particular report from Cisco Talos includes details on the living off the land techniques that were used by the threat actor, as well as highlighting a new malware family identified as jumbled path, which the actor used to execute packet capture on remote Cisco devices. The actor also used this malware to help evade detection by clearing logs and created a chain of connections while in the system to help them obfuscate communications. We recommend to better understand the mitigations and preventive measures that were discussed by Cisco to actually view this report, particularly for those of you who may be in the telecommunications sector. If you have any comments or questions on anything we discussed today, I just want to remind everyone that you can get in touch with us using the email address cti@kroll.com. And let's go ahead and get into the rest of the report and cover some of the trends that the analysts are working on. So, Ryan, we're actually going to start with you talking about the Lazarus attack on Bybit. So, take it, Ryan.
Thanks, Laurie. Yes, so just a quick update for the Bybit attack. We mentioned it last week, just in a SITREP. There's been a bit more reporting in open source. So initially, there was a number of researchers that reported on the consistencies of TTPs within the attack with KTA 071, which is Lazarus. And that attribution was also stated by SAFE, who manages the smart contract system that was targeted. And this was finally backed up by an FBI announcement on February 26th. Where they stated that North Korea was responsible for the attack, in their words, further mentioning the name of that same threat actor, Lazarus, and they also detailed a number of crypto addresses that were used during the attack. And on the same day of that announcement, the CEO of Bybit shared initial reports from the incident, and the key takeaways from this are, so firstly, that there was malicious JavaScript that was injected into SAFE Wallet's AWS S3 bucket. And the purpose of that was to manipulate transactions, and that particular code in that particular bucket is used within the user interface for transactions. So it's when targeting the user interface to manipulate data. And this code was designed to activate a transaction function when the signer of a cryptocurrency contract was part of a predefined list. This would therefore likely be kicked off when a legitimate transaction from a cold wallet was triggered. However, the JavaScript code, the malicious code, would then be activated in the user interface to kind of manipulate and kind of hijack that transaction. And then that would basically overwrite several transaction fields, including the wallet address of the adversary's address, as well as some transaction logic that pointed towards a malicious smart contract. And inside that contract, essentially there were functions that were able to drain the cold wallet to the attacker. The impact of this, as we mentioned last week, was nearly $1.5 billion of cryptocurrency, mostly Ethereum, were drained from a cold wallet to adversary addresses. It's currently unclear how the malicious JavaScript found its way onto the safe wallets environment in order to sort of kick off that incident. It's likely, however, that a more kind of traditional cyber incident could have led to a threat to initial access as a precursor activity. How long that they would have been there is unclear. This could have been through sort of more conventional social engineering, perhaps, such as spear phishing, but also the possibility of an insider threat involvement. Of course, we don't have the full details, but we certainly monitor any reporting published or to see any additional findings that may come out, and we will report those as appropriate. And that's all for me. Back to you, Laurie.
Thanks, Ryan. Now, Dave, I know you're up next, and I know you've been tracking a group, KCA405, known as Silver Fox, that's targeting medical software. What have you seen in regards to those recent campaigns?
Thank you, Laurie. Four Scouts detailed a campaign where threat actor KTA405, aka Silver Fox, disguised their malware as medical equipment software, specifically medical digital imaging viewers from Philips. The samples discovered used the file name mediaviewerlauncher.exe, which matches an executable from Philips. Once launched, the malware performs network reconnaissance to check for C2 connectivity using Windows built-in command line tools such as ipconfig and ping.exe. It also adds directories to Windows Defender exclusion lists via PowerShell. Then the second stage malware is then downloaded and executed via scheduled task. This consists of a DLL with anti-analysis malicious code and the open source EDR killer named TrueSight Killer, alongside other files such as shellcode binaries. The second stage loads the DLL, which enumerates the running processes, looking for security software to terminate with TrueSight Killer. It then downloads and executes ValleyRat, a fully featured remote access tool. The mimicking of medical imaging viewers indicates KTA405 were likely performing a more targeted attack due to the less common usage of these tools. With the initial infection vector is unknown, KTA405's previous behavior of SEO poisoning makes it a good recommendation to educate users on downloading files from untrusted locations. And where customers or patients are sent specialist files that require the downloading of a separate viewer, it is recommended to provide details on how to obtain the official viewers alongside the files themselves. Thank you, Laurie.
Thanks, Dave. So, Sam, I know you've got a juicy one. You've been looking into the BLACKBASTA chat logs. What do you have to tell us about that?
That's right. Yeah, big leak of chat logs by an administrator of the Telegram chat group known in English as Basta Whisper. It was almost 50 megabytes of what were purported to be internal matrix chat logs of KTA134, also known as BLACKBASTA, the notorious ransomware group. The actor cited the group, quote, crossing the line in reference to recent alleged attacks on Russian financial institutions as his motivation for leaking the chat logs. The chat logs exposed a number of group members, including the apparent leader, GG, identified by exploit whispers as a core member of the Conti ransomware group, KTA248, also known as Tramp. They also speculated AA, GG, and Tramp might all be aliases of the individual Oleg Nefedov. Nefedov is wanted by the US Department of Justice for his involvement in a multi-billion-dollar fraudulent transactions scheme, who, according to sources, was arrested in Armenia on the 21st of June 2024 before being released 72 hours later, with the judge responsible later being sanctioned. But in the chat logs, GG mentions once being apprehended by law enforcement officers, but, quote, top government officials allegedly helped him to escape the arrest. Other significant members revealed in the chat logs are Lapa, an infrastructure and reconnaissance specialist, UG Wei, responsible for social engineering and initial access, YY, responsible for setting up and managing servers, and N3 Ox AXL, who developed exploits and configured malware and automation scripts for the group. The leaked conversations detail the wide range of services, tools, and malware strains used by the group, including Anubis, Iced ID backdoor and its virtual network computing and backconnect component Keyhole, the Darkgate malware loader, Quackbot Trojan, and Luma information stealer. GG also claimed the group had moved from using Quackbot to its own proprietary malware Peekabot, developed by himself and another coder in the group in November 2023. The chat logs contain a trove of information about the group's financial operations, including more than 130 Bitcoin addresses and transaction IDs. These showed payments for illicit tools and services, as well as payments to third parties such as malware crypting services, phone operators, proxy services, and spammers outsourced to by the group. Ransom payment distribution among team members and affiliates was also broken down, with traffic providers receiving as much as 20% of a ransom payment if the victim was compromised via their network. Initial access brokers were paid up to 40%, and partners using BlackBasta's locker were charged 20% of the ransom as a rental fee. The leak exposes growing discord within the group, which mirrors the splintering of the Conti ransomware group following the leak of internal chat logs, source code, and operational details in February 2022. According to intelligence partners, the group was likely suspending its operations following the ongoing exodus of its core team. Signs members were losing interest first emerged in May 2024 as engagement by Tramp, the group's leader, waned and he withdrew from leadership duties. This coincided with the seizure of Quackbot infrastructure, a key component of BlackBasta's attack kill chain, by the FBI and Europol in Operation Duck Hunt. The BlackBasta blog is currently offline. While some members of the group have fled to other ransomware groups, primarily KTA 389, also known as SafePay, as well as KTA 356, known as Lynx, and KTA 278, known as Inc. Ransom, and have been modifying the existing BlackBasta locker, the remaining members are demonstrating less care and discipline with locker deployments and payments. With the exit of key members, they may be missing the necessary technical capacity and skills to support a now aging and poorly maintained piece of malware. Recent reports have emerged of unreliability in the locker and decryptor, with a number of cases of failed encryption and decryption, and internal conflict may be exacerbating these technical failures. There is currently no indication the group is planning to rebrand. However, it is likely that the technical capabilities of newer groups such as SafePay, Lynx, and Inc. Ransom will increase significantly with the addition of highly skilled and experienced operators from BlackBasta. Kroll is continuing to analyze the leaked data and developments relating to the group's membership and hope to provide further insights in due course. Back to you, Laurie.
Thanks, Sam. So that's a pretty big download about ransomware, but I know that's not all that we have. So Sarah, I know last but not least, what do you have for the ransomware roundup this morning?
Thanks, Laurie. We have a message from LOCKBIT to the FBI, and this message was posted on February 25th. LOCKBIT created a post on their Telegram channel and also on the data leak site to specifically address Kash Patel, who is the director of the FBI. The message begins with the threat actor wishing Patel a happy birthday and continuing with stating, "I also congratulate you on your position as the 9th director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and wish you professional success because it will not be easy for you." So LOCKBIT mentions throughout their post just discussing feelings towards the FBI and FBI agents, and they also discuss various topics around taxes. The post ends with the threat actors asking Patel to contact them about publishing information that, quote unquote, could not only negatively affect the reputation of the FBI, but destroy it as a structure. So within this, LOCKBIT has offered Patel a password protected file. This is also not the first time that LOCKBIT has used this tactic. They previously did this by sending former director Christopher Wray a similar message. This was around December 2024 after he stepped down from his position. So this is just going again with LOCKBIT initiating and posting various threats to the FBI. And we are following with this just to see what may come about. That's all for me, Laurie.
Thanks, Sarah. So the LOCKBIT and the FBI drama, just continuing story. So thanks very much for everyone who tuned in, and also thanks to Ryan, Dave, Sam, and Sarah for presenting today. That's all we have for this week. Again, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to us using cti@kroll.com. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.